Hi, this is mxux. I've got some juicy news pre-earnings call. Okay, we're back here now. This is Lordstown Motors. This is the Q2 call coming up Thursday. I think it's before market open. I got this titled News and Rumors. And I've gathered this from a number of sources, and please understand that this is my personal research. You have to do your own DD. Do not ride as a high-risk investment. I'm not an engineer, financial advisor, or blah, blah, blah. Do your own DD. But anyway, let me just go through this for you real quickly here as I can. Pre-news, let's go to number one. I have this. This is supposedly confirmed. Batteries have been delivered and are at the plant. Enough to make 500 endurance trucks. Okay? And that's how many batteries have been delivered. I don't know the source of the batteries, but they are there. And, as you know, 500 vehicles, 500 units is stated to be the production for 2022 of the Endurance. So, they have the batteries there to make the vehicles. Now, let's move on to number two. I have this from another source. You're going to have to confirm this on your own. My source says the start of commercial production was July 27. July 27. So, what was that? 5 days ago? So the truck is currently, according to this source, do your own DD, currently in production at the Lordstown plant with Foxconn building the truck under a contract manufacturing agreement, which was hammered out through their joint venture agreement. So, batteries are there for 500. Production's already started. Okay? Hightower was being coy. He said, well, you know, we're hoping to start production Q3. Okay. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. But I don't think he's given an interview, you know, following this date. So, but this, according to me, my source is the start of commercial production of the Lordstown Endurance, July 27th, 2022. So it's already under production. The batteries are there. That is the key component. They are definitely going to make 500 Endurance this year, and they're going to get them in the hands of key customers and bully to Mr. Hightower, bringing home the bacon. All right, move on to the next item. Now this involves the Model C and Model E, which are Foxtron, which is LuxGen, which is Yulong. Anyway, these are the first models, the Model C and Model E. I'm going to try to put a picture in here of them. One is a crossover, one is like a Tesla Model S competitor, that were supposed to be the first vehicles launched by Foxconn as BEVs under the Foxtron brand. It's all very complicated. The C, the crossover, was supposed to be the one. And this is from a source in Taiwan. These models were promised to be delivered first to the Taiwan market by LuxGen. Okay? And they have actually announced that in October they're going to be able to take pre-orders. However, according to this source, recently LuxGen seems like it may be wavering on launching these cars in Taiwan. Their website and other print is kind of it's just not the way it was. Oops, sorry there. Let's just expand that a little bit. Anyway, let's just keep going. Now, Yulong is the power behind Lordstown, and these are interlocking corporations and so forth. Yulong is a Chinese company, okay? Since 2021, there has been a ban on U.S. federal transit funding for companies linked to China. So, if Lordstown builds these cars, and that is really Yulong, Lordstown builds these cars in Taiwan for a launch there, they're not going to be able to do, according to my logic, and I'm not a lawyer, they're not going to be able to sell them in the U.S. market because Yulong, I mean, they're going to be able to maybe sell them in the U.S. market, but all this transportation bill money that's coming through for battery electric vehicles and so forth is not going to be allowed because it's a Chinese company. I'm not going to get political on that. I don't care whose company it is. But anyway, so since 2021, there's been a ban on U.S. federal transit funding for companies linked to China. With the pending infrastructure BEV legislation in Congress, Mnuchin has just agreed to that massive bill that includes a lot of subsidies, a lot of sweetening for battery electric vehicles, and I do believe they're putting an emphasis on vehicles manufactured in the United States, so on and so forth. In light of all this, Foxtron may be moving this production to Lordstown to avoid losing these potential subsidies. So, I think there's a very good chance, as I said in my last video, that these two models, and especially the Model C, is going to be built and launched by Lordstown. I think the Model E as well. I think the Fisker pair might have something to do with the Model C crossover skateboard as well. But I think I had a 51% chance on this happening. It's 52% now. I do believe both these cars are going to be the innards are going to be engineered out by Lordstown under the MED joint venture agreement, and they're going to be built by Foxtron at the Lordstown plant. And Hodlrs is probably going to work out the production details and so forth, and handle the launch as well of this Model C in the United States. I do believe that this is going to be launched as a Lordstown Motors vehicle, a really nice crossover in the United States. I think they're going to do a strategy change here, and they're going to move the production from Taiwan to Lordstown to take advantage of these potential subsidies, which aren't passed yet, but will likely be. We're back now. Sorry about these technical complications. I'm struggling to get this out to all my subscribers. I think it's important information. Anyway, that was the Model C and Model E news. Now I have some breathtaking news here. There are rumors that the Lordstown Motors high-top van is back in development. Now, I had mentioned that they had been underway with the development of this project. When they had the going concern announcement, they had to stop. I believe they had at that time soft stamping dies, and that they were progressing. Now, originally, as I have down here, this vehicle was to be past the prototype, moving into beta, and nearing the start of production at this time. And what their announcement was by Q3 in 22, as I recall, and you can double check me on this, that the high-top van was going to be in production. This was to be the second vehicle. The Endurance was to be the first. The high-top van was to be the second under Steve Burns' leadership. The high-top van is based on the Endurance skateboard, and it can be built on the same line at the same time by Foxconn now under contract. Now, what I have here is a spy photo. This reportedly is a picture of the actual high-top van. Da, 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 da. There it is. I know. Could be more detail. You guys can blow this up on your phones or whatever. You can see this is definitely a high-top van. I imagine the front end is going to look a lot like the Endurance. I have checked this out very carefully. These are hub motors. So it's got a cover on it. Somebody got a picture of it. This appears to be a full-size high-top van, which is exactly the configuration that Steve Burns was working on for use as a last-mile delivery van and the first BEV SUV camper van. And that was to be sold by Camping World under CEO Limones. And this definitely has hub motors. Now, I just wanted to go over this a second here. The hub motors should provide a lower ride height to the vehicle as a whole. I was looking at the Amazon step van being developed by Rivian. It's got some clever things in it, you know, an automatic opening door, air-conditioned seat. However, there is, and I had done some quite a bit of work on this. I have done some videos on Workhorse, which is a step van, delivery van as well. You can see my video library for those. And the main complaint of drivers is, you know, jumping in and out of the truck all day. It's like climbing a flight of stairs. The main advantage of the Workhorse van was a low step height. I do believe that's going to be carried over to this van. I have no way of knowing that, but the hub motors, as I said, would enable a lower ride height because they don't have the motors internally that would cause the frame to be up. Anyway, and this also would have a solid rear axle. I'll tell you, this is going to be a great van. Anyway, the point is, I was looking at the Rivian last mile delivery van, and the driver's seat is on a platform. He has to step down from that platform to a secondary platform with the package floor. Then he has to go down 2 steps, and then he has to step onto the pavement. That's 5 steps. 5 steps that driver has to take every time he stops that vehicle to get out. He has to take 5 steps to get to the ground and 5 steps to get back up in his seat. I think this van is that's going to be the unique selling point. I'll tell you, I may look stupid on this later, but I think that's going to be the unique selling point of this van. It's going to limit that number of steps, and I think the hub motors are going to enable that. Also, with the solid rear axle, I don't know, Rivian may have a solid rear axle. I got to tell you, they've got the same screens in it as the Rivian pickup, which seems to be overkill to me, a bit expensive. They have a cool automatic shutting door. However, man, that thing is wavy gravy. I mean, the size of that van, I have never seen a more poorly constructed van in my life. I mean, oh my goodness. You have to see a picture of it. I mean, it's looked like it was already in an accident, and they pounded the panels out. You know, they're all wave. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's plastic construction or something. Anyway, I think this van is going to look a lot better, and it's going to be a good fleet vehicle for last mile delivery, also for tradesmen and for rentals. And this is a good camper van too, a SUV, or I'm sorry, whatever the case may be. It's a good camper van. The Rivian van is never going to be a camper van. Never. Anyway, that's pretty exciting. I think this is a real picture. I think this is a real development. This is a huge, huge development for Lordstown. So we've got a pickup truck at Lordstown. Let's go over the product line. We've got a four-wheel drive pickup truck, a BEV pickup. We've got a delivery van, which may be two-wheel drive, maybe four-wheel drive. A high-top delivery van, which can also be a camper van. Okay, no problem. And we have the Model C, which is a crossover, which is going to be a low-cost grocery getter crossover, a really nicely designed car. As this van is built on the endurance skateboard, I do believe perhaps the next vehicle that will be launched by Lordstown will be a suburban competitor, 3-row, 7 or 8 passenger SUV built on this same endurance skateboard with four-wheel drive hub motors. And I think that is a pretty full product line. And I think Hodlrs is the guy to get that out the door and market it successfully. And he is going to do fleet first, as Burns did, build the brand, and then launch it to consumers. Anyway, I'm excited about the conference call, the Q2 call. I've also got rumors that I didn't include, but there have been some high net worth individuals that have made special trips to the Lordstown plant that may be investors. We're going to see what Dan Niavaji and CFO Kroll come up with as far as financing. And I would add, just to close this out, if you read the joint venture agreement, and I'm not going to go through it here, it's all a bit complex and wordy, but there's at least 3 funding options in that joint venture agreement. There's an emergency funding option, so on and so forth. The members can loan each other money. So I do believe, well, I think it's very obvious the endurance is being built, and the capital markets may not be favorable, but I think after this news, this should pump the stock. I'm not a financial advisor, not a lawyer, not an engineer. Do your own DD, but this is a very exciting vehicle lineup. I think this is all going to come to fruition. Again, I am, let's say, 52% certain of all this information right now. So this is MXUX. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.